Let me put a sneak up for the youth, and these are the 2015s. Statik, man, let me apologize for throwing my events on the days
Always
that
during the radio show.
So I gotta get that out to the world, because that text that always comes either the day of my event or Friday.
It's always Thursday. No, it's always a Thursday, and it's always from like 7 to 10. So if I do make it over here, I got to leave the radio at 9 and like rush over here. It takes me like 40 minutes to get over here.
Can we ever do a live broadcast from the compound?
Absolutely,
maybe?
Easy.
So y'all heard it here first.
I can broadcast from anywhere I want.
Perfect. So now I got it on camera. But thanks for coming, man. First question I always ask everybody is, and you've been here numerous times, I must admit I think I lost in pool.
Oh, definitely.
I don't remember, but we'll handle that. Mm-hmm. When you come to the compound as an artist, producer, a student of culture, what do you think when you see the space and how it's been evolving over the years?
I think it's the thing with like inspiration and just, anytime you hear, whether people are here or not, like when you do have people here, it's always cats that like it feels good to bump into. But even when nobody's here and it's empty, it's just like it represents the art and the appreciation of music and, pieces in the culture, whether it's an MPC or a piece of art or the furniture or the turntable or records, like to the arcade games. It's like, it comes across as like a museum vibe,
No, thank you, man. So I know you've been to say you caught a couple episodes of what Compound Conversation is. I know a lot of your story, but a lot of people, they might only catch you from the one day albums with artists. They might catch you from show off, but they don't know the whole journey.
Right.
So I try to give a condensed version of your story, in a chronological order. So let's start. We in New York, and it's a good reason that it's a B hat on the table.
Oh yeah.
But if we could start from the beginning, like, where you're from, what was family to you in the beginning? Who did you grow up with? Starting from that point.
So I grew up I was born in a city called Lawrence, Massachusetts. It's kind of hip hop famous now because you got Crumb Snatcher from there, Terminology, Rex, Scientific, rest in peace, and myself, which is a lot of talent to come from
one place.
A small city. You know what I mean? It's like 30 minutes north of Boston. But my parents got divorced when I was 10 years old, and it kind of like flipped my life upside down. And, my mom wanted me to be around my dad. They didn't even move far. My dad was only like 30 minutes away, but she wanted me to be close. So I ended up going to like middle school and high school in New Hampshire, which was like culture shock because, I'm growing up in Lawrence, which is, Methuen, Lawrence, that whole area is like mainly Hispanic. So I'm growing up with like a lot of B-boys, a lot of DJs, a lot of kids that want to be rappers. And now I'm in a town going to school with like, there was like 2 or 3 kids that even listen to hip hop at this point. So like this is when like Wu-Tang's dropping and Mobb Deep and Gang Starr, and the kids that were into it, I instantly like just
clicked to them.
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to miss nobody, but shout my man Doug, Bug Out, Craig, Matt, Jesse, like it's not that many, but we all just like collected. Like we collected cassette singles, CDs, and then that became vinyl when I hit like 14, 15, that became vinyl. Oh no, I'm bugging. 13. I was 13 when I started DJing,
So, wow, you know what? We started DJing at the same age, which was 9th grade for me when I started DJing. You heard hip hop, you've seen it, the fashion, the dress, but when did it click like, I gotta do something?
Before that, like when I seen Scenario Tribe Called Quest video, I was like, what is this? And this is before my parents even got divorced. It was like, I remember being in my house in Methuen watching that and being like, I don't know what this is, but it's talking to me a certain way. I was into like MC Hammer and all that, but it was like that didn't hit me the same way.
Yeah.
When I seen Tribe, and then like, I think after that it was like Guru and like, believe it or not, I had Jazzmatazz before I had Gang Starr album. So jazz is very heavy in my life, and I think that had a lot to do with it. But I knew who Gang Starr was and all that. I had the poster in this is some 90s shit. I had the poster on my wall for Daily Operation and didn't have Daily Operation.
But had Jazzmatazz.
They sold it at the store, so I got it for 25 cents. Remember the squares they used to sell?
Yeah, the record squares, yeah.
But Jazzmatazz 1 was a big album for me, and then kind of opened up a lot of the jazz doors, like learning about, Roy Ayers and, all these people.
Miles Davis, all of them, yeah.
Yeah, it opened up my ears to all that.
Yeah, as for me too, I was like going back and forth from Philly to Queens, and I was hearing music, but I was like, I don't know what I want to do yet. And then I was, everybody, all of us broke a cardboard box down. We thought he was gonna be a dancer. Probably heard that ain't no real money. But then when did when did you see the DJ? When did seeing the DJ and then wanting to be a DJ is two different worlds. Like, did you get captivated by seeing a DJ first? Or?
By hearing. I went to New Jersey for Thanksgiving in 1995. And, you know, I was into hip-hop heavy at this point, but I kept hearing about Hot 97. I never heard it before. And it's Thanksgiving weekend, which is like
crazy,
the illest time to possibly listen to it. The second I put it on, it's like DJ Premier live on Hot 97. I'm like, what? So I heard Premier, Kid Capri, and Flex all within like the same 12 hours, and I was like, whoa. And the next day I woke up and they were like doing it again, and it, red alert, and I'm like, this is it. Like I decided that day, Thanksgiving '95, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do with my life. Like, not this is my dream. Like this is what I'm going to do. Period. And I never turned back. I never had any desire to do anything else ever since.
Wow, it's so funny, man. Like, because I get to learn so much, and then comparing my life. I remember I was going back and forth to New York, and I was like, it was like Ron G, blending made me want to DJ. Mixtapes, I was like, yo, these dudes put like Marvin Gaye with Eric B. and Rakim, and I was like, so then the funniest story for me was like, I remember my mom got me one turntable, and then my man Kendall Collins, rest in peace, he had another turntable, but it was belt drive. And then I got a Radio Shack realistic black mixer. Yeah, the black joint with steel. Going from Hot 97, that's probably the longest ride home back to your house. You was going.
I taped it. So when I got back to school, I was the man.
Oh, you was the that's how in Philly I had all these mixtapes and blends, and I was the dude. What was the process thought in your mind of like, okay, I know what I want to do now?
First thing I did was go in my living room and take my dad's turntable and put it in my room, which it upset him because he had no clue why I was doing this. But it wasn't a DJ turntable. No, it was like one of those like
belt drive.
No, forget about belt drive. Of course it was belt drive, but it was like it had a cassette deck and then a radio, and then like it was like this
snack
big.
Joint.
Horrible. Like it was probably $60 at like Woolworths or something. But I learned how to scratch on that turntable. That's how I learned how to scratch. And then I ended up buying turntables probably 6 months later from the back of the Source, Upstairs Records, $300. You got a Jazzy Jeff mixer, 2 Gemini belt drives.
Wow.
And like that, I don't know. It was bad.
So wait, you were probably the only person I know alive that you really ordered something out of the back of the Source.
No, kids all over the world did it. I don't think people in New York and Philly did it because you had it right here.
Yeah.
But everybody everywhere else ordered from the back of the Source.
Wow, I never knew that.
Hell yeah.
So,
how else were you going to get it?
I wouldn't know. I just was in Philly. It was
Picture all the people in middle America and like even the suburbs is like not everybody can just go to Beach Street and buy turntables. Yeah,
I went to Hot Watts out to Coliseum and then Funko Mart in Philly, but because I used to look in that back page and be like, yo, I'm not buying. That's crazy, dog. You had foresight. You had vision then.
I mean, I just by any means, and I paid for it myself at 13 years old. Like I had all kinds of odd jobs, working at bike shops, moving wood on like 4-wheelers. Like I worked at McDonald's when I was 15.
Yeah, I worked at Pizza Hut, same age. So all right, so let's go turntables now.
Yeah.
Learn how to scratch, getting nice, learning. You was learning on that, so now you transform to the tables. Especially being up north,
right?
Where did the records come for you? Like,
Strawberries. Strawberries was like the #1 record store in like Massachusetts, and like you go there. There was one in Downtown Crossing, Boston. There was one in Salem, New Hampshire, which was right on the line to Lawrence. There was one in Lawrence. They were all over the place, but you'd go in there. And like, this is 95. Like, you'd be like, Far Side. Run-In was one of the first 12 inches I ever bought.
Same.
Common Sense, Resurrection. Like, this is like, you're just
Souls
picking them out, $5 a
yeah.
pop, all that.
So because I remember I was buying, the break beats with the little cartoon cover.
Ultimate Breaks and Beats. Shout out to Breakbeat Lou.
I was copping them. I really didn't have money all the time for doubles.
Those were expensive.
Yeah, they was like $10.99. Like,
yeah, I bought every single volume too by the time I was like 18. 26 volumes times 2 because you needed doubles.
You needed doubles, yeah. I was buying singles of them because certain records, I remember like EPMD, Headbanger was something I bought. I only bought doubles over records that I really, really liked it.
Yeah,
like,
but the breakbeats you had to have too.
You had to have too, yeah. So when at that young age, was you buying a lot of doubles on the records, or?
So Pete my hustle. I spent a lot of money on records, even to this day. But I started radio when I was 14. Wow. Because Phillips Academy happened to be in the town that my parents moved to. I didn't go there, but every semester they had to give 4 people a radio show. 4 local kids that didn't go to school there. It was like them giving back to the community, or just making it like a thing where the town was involved, not just the students.
Okay.
So I had to write an essay every I think every half a year, maybe it was every year, I don't know. But I had to write essays multiple times a year to get the show. And like, I think I got rejected the first time, second time I got it. And who actually had a show there? Brendan Fredericks, who went on to work at Complex.
Wow.
It's bugged out. But anyway, I had the show there, and I would report to CMJ. I'd write them like letters with my top songs of the week. I was on Thursdays, same as now. Been on Thursday for 30 years.
I'm definitely gonna have to change my show now.
But I'd call the labels, and if they weren't sending the station records, I'd be like, hey, we need your records, look what we're reporting. But I'd give them my home address. So by the time I was like 16, 17, every day I'm getting home from school, and you could ask any of the homies I grew up with, like, there would be a stack of records like this almost every day of the week. It was like Christmas every day.
Yeah,
test pressings, all that.
That was the best to get all, like the UPS guy started knowing me. My mom used to get pissed because every day, I mean, it was back then, it was Tommy Boy, Loud, Raucous,
Jive with Lace,
or G Street. And like every day I would have like 10 records.
Electra used to send out some
Payday,
of the most,
everything. So when did this bug come to you like, yo, I gotta be in New York. I gotta get to New York, like?
So, like, later on in high school, by senior year, I was just known across my school because I was DJing in the clubs. The kids were coming out, like, partying every night. Not every night, but Friday, Saturday. I had shit rocking up there, especially at the beach, like Hampton Beach, Salisbury Beach, up there, rocking. So, by that point, I was like, what am I doing next? I want to move to New York. Like, I want to go do this for real. And I think, like, a couple factors. One of my best friends wanted to go to school in Boston. I was down with it because I loved Boston. So it was like, and I grew up like going there every week. So it was like, you know, it was only an hour away. It wasn't a big step like that. I think I decided right before the end of high school that I wanted to go to AI, which it's funny. It's called AI, Arts Institute. Action Bronson went to the one in New York for cooking. Like, it was a big thing. Okay. They were all across the country. I think it went out of
we went to Philly. I remember.
It went out of business, but. Yep. It was called Masscom, and then right as my first year there, it got bought out by AI, so it was called AI. And like it was funny because I had kids in my class interning for me. I had already been working in the marketing. Like, the second I moved to Boston, I worked for Metro Concepts, which at the time they managed a lot of people, but they handled like Interscope, Raucous. Like, I was going to malls buying Raucous albums, and like with cash, and then mailing them back to Raucous. Like, I'm not gonna throw no artists under the bus, but a lot of cats had that done for their albums.
Wow.
And it was like I was a child doing that, man. It was part of the, like, if a DJ on the radio up there needed something, we'd go and bring, like,
go support.
They were having me do shit that I shouldn't have been doing.
You was tapped in early.
Yeah.
Real early.
Like, I remember one time we, up in Smoke Tour.
Okay.
M had the after party, and they like followed us to the club, and we brought M up in the VIP and all that. It's like, this is... Man, it feels like a lifetime. It was a lifetime ago, but
we came from when I always say we came from when it really started.
Yeah.
So
after Metro Concepts, I started. I worked at this company called Indie Pro. My partner Eddie and me got to the point where I was like, "Yo, I want to start my own version of this," and we were partners. And I did all the G Unit stuff, Violator, Atlantic. I mean, it goes on and on. Vitamin Water, Reebok.
And all this was in Boston?
This is all in Boston, yeah. And then 2003, I was like, I can't. Like, I was on the radio. I was on 97 in Boston.
Okay.
Chubby Chubb, shout to him. Shout to Clinton Sparks. Chubb ended up going on tour with Khalees. And when he went on tour with her, he's like, yo, I'm going to have you fill in for me every day of the week. Like 6 days a week, I was on the radio.
Wow.
But then when he got back, he was like, I'm back. Like, you know, maybe you could do a weekend once in a while. And I'm like,
you're like, nah.
Nah, I'm out. I'm moving to New York. And the second my lease was up, see you later. I didn't tell nobody. Like, I literally called my best friend who moved to the Bronx. I was like, I'm moving to your building now. Like, right now. And just moved.
And this was 2003?
2003, yeah.
Same thing happened for me, Statik. Was like, I was living in Philly, and I was like, yo, it ain't gonna happen with me living in Philly. So I think it was, I don't remember the year. I think my fam Dre went to college in '93, and I was like, if I don't move back to New York, it's not. I can't keep watching this from TV. I can't keep driving back and forth 95 South, 95 North, and then I moved to New York, and that's when everything changed. So take me through now moving to New York. Like, you know, skills are up. You got the connections of like the Chubbs, the Clintons, and you know the labels. But what was that journey like for you just moving to New York first time ever?
It was humbling because in Boston I was DJing like 5 nights a week, and I was like, oh, I'm good. I know all the label guys. When I get to New York, I'm good. I got to New York, nobody gave a fuck because the club scene here. Nowadays, it's like kind of obvious that it's two different worlds. But back then, you'd think that like the music industry and the club scene was like
together.
They weren't.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a record release party or something.
That was the only thing.
But the club scene was like DJs I never heard of in my life that were killing the city. That weren't known in the mixtape world because I'm heavy in the mixtape world at this point. Yep. This is like my bread and butter besides the marketing. And I still hadn't really started producing yet. I had a couple beats here and there, but no real placements. So the second I get here, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna roll the clubs and like get gigs. And it did not work like that. So, you know, after hanging out with cats like Puerto Rico Rob and
shouts out to Puerto Rico Rob.
Absolutely.
He's a dick.
He's my brother, man.
Love him.
Cats like him and like other label cats that would like put me on the spots.
Chris
and
Green.
I just started doing my own like research. Yeah, shout out to Chris Green, Jay Grand.
Yep.
And there was one point like where me and my, like if I wanted to go out with my homies that moved down here, like I'd be like, let's just go to 4040 and sit at the bar. Because 4040 would let pretty much anyone in. Like it was a sports bar.
Totally, yep.
So like we would go there and just like hang out and like nothing, you know, we never really got no connections out there. But if we were like, we were at Jay-Z's club. Like,
it felt like
it's cool, yeah. So after a while of doing that, go to record release parties and learning, you know, the promoters and all that, I started to get gigs. And one of my first gig I ever got, and at least in Manhattan, was Exit, which is Terminal 5 now.
Wow.
But they put me on the roof, which is like the smoking section now. But it was a club back then. And I remember my first gig, they had me show up at like 9 p.m. and I was there till 5 a.m. and like nobody was on the roof. I was just, and this is vinyl. I had like 4 crates of records with me. I lived on the 5th floor. Talking about like workout.
Weights.
And it was, you know, but I was just happy to say that I was DJing in the city. And then, you know, the mixtapes took off big time after that. Because like Canal Street already knew me. The clubs didn't know me, but Canal Street knew me. Fat Beats, places like that. Because my mixtapes, I was getting all the exclusives. So the second I moved here, you know, I started doing mixtapes with like Nas and Mobb Deep and Method Man and all these people. Like that shit picked up quickly. John Legend. Akon, like it started going fast.
Before I didn't know you, I thought Statik Selektah was a reggae DJ. Then out here and show off.
I grew up doing reggae though. That's the whole part we left out.
Is that why Statik Selektah name came?
I was DJing in the Bronx. It was my first gig in New York City ever, and I was frustrated at the time because I was battling a lot. And I found out about DJ Statik from Philly, which was frustrating.
Yep.
DJ Statik from Brooklyn, and then there was a DJ Statik from Denmark. And I'm like, what can I do
I
to
need a
separate
last name.
myself? Huh?
I need a last name.
Or I didn't want to change it though because people knew me as Statik. So I was like, what do I do? And I changed the spelling from a C to a K. And then I was DJing in the Bronx and the guy's like, what's your name? I was like, Statik. He's like, select the Statik. And I was like, what if I turn that around?
That's it. One of the things that I know is probably happening parallel is just because I'm thinking about my life. Philly, I was doing parties, clubs, and all the time. And then I was just like, I want to do beats though. And it was like, you know, because like I said, what made me really want to DJ was blending. And you know, when blending is so connected almost to sampling.
Yeah.
And it was like, because a lot of the same records and, you know, all the R&B. When did, go back a little bit in the timeline in this journey, when did the light bulb go off of being like, you know what, I want to be a producer now?
Remember, from day one, I wanted to, like DJ Premier was my biggest influence. So
Totally know.
From day one, I wanted to do it. I messed around beats in the 90s, it was whatever. Fast forward 2003, I got my first placement on KRS-One, Keep Right album. And he didn't even rap on the beat though, it was just me scratching over a beat. But still, I was on a KRS-One album.
I made it.
So after that, it was like, I did a song on AZ's album by mistake. He came over to help, he wanted me to help put together, it was either a mixtape or a show track. It might have been a show track for him to do at SOB's. We put together the set. But when he was in there, I was working on a record. It was a term record. And he heard it. He's like, nah, I want that. Like, I want that on my album. And it ended up being on his album, was it The Format? The Format. This is like 2005, and it's my first real producer check. And after that, it was like Foxy Brown, a bunch of like clutch placements for a while. Mm-hmm. And then 2007 comes, and what happens? Drama gets arrested.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I got to take the beat serious because I knew that day the mixtape
game is over.
I called Clinton Sparks that day. I go, yo, so what's going to happen with Mix Unit? And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
Like you on the phone, man. I don't know nothing.
Motherfuckers, phones and taps. Yeah. I'm like, all right. So I was like, this is done. That whole income stream, like, because, we were selling. We all were. Like, we were selling so many CDs. Amoeba, stores like that on the West Coast, they were buying 300 CDs at a time for like $8.
DJ Ski, a good friend of mine, he was like, yo, free. I was in LA when the raid started happening. And they got him too.
Not like Drama, though.
Oh, no, Drama was like
the president. Everybody stopped,
yeah,
like immediately. But that was scary. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to my beats are getting better. I'm just going to make an album. And I called it Spell My Name Right, the album, because my mixtape series was called Spell My Name Right. But this is Spell My Name Right, the album. And I started working on it. And I'm doing all the beats, all the scratches. And I'm starting to get phone calls. Freeway calls me out of nowhere. He's like, who's doing the beats? I'm like, me. He's like, I didn't even know you made beats. He's like, count me in. Freeway was on there. I had Styles P, Q-Tip. Like, I'm getting these crazy features off of the love of what I was doing in the mixtape game and
now it's
on radio.
over.
Because I'm still on radio. I'm doing at the
Boston?
time. No, I'm on Sirius now.
Okay, you're on
Shade 45.
Shade 45. Okay.
This is on Clinton Sparks' show, but Clinton was like not showing up after a while. He was having me do like most of the show. Right. So by the time 2008 came after that, I got my own show off radio. I took it over.
So since then, Show Off, Statik Selektah, doing like I said, the One Day album. I remember you did one with Freeway way back in the day. Like,
yeah, that was one of the first ones.
It was the first ones. As we look at your album cover here, when did like all this, the other things as a business start connecting with you? Like, because you get a name, of course. You want a name for your company, but your brand has been protected a great way through your career, and that's not. A lot of people don't have that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they mess the brand up, or the marketing don't match the brand. But when did all that start coming to fruition for you?
I think it was early because Show Off marketing existed before Show Off Records.
Wow.
So like, and to me it was like, obviously the culture and the money are two different things, but hustle is part of the culture. And when you connect dots doing that, that's when it stays authentic, you know what I mean? Some people are just out here getting any check they can, putting goofy things together that don't make any sense. It was never about that ever with me. Like, I turned down a lot of opportunities that later on, some of my heroes would call me and be like, yo, how do you do it? Because I had to do this and this, and I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I kept going, man. The whole shit. He said the genius thing we did was just not quit.
Yep, it's a fact.
And I just always held that bar from not just my music, but my radio show, for the brand, for the artist I work with. Like, you're not catching me working with like these, Chat GPT mumble rap dudes. It's not happening.
Yeah. So another question, like coming from Boston, I made the jump when I was in Philly by myself back to New York. Your brand and all the things you do, you would think it's 30-person staff. Like you would think. I mean,
we call it the Show Off crew, man. We got certain people that do certain things, but it's definitely not a 30-person staff.
Yeah. How important was that teamwork and camaraderie to take the brand and your career to? Because a lot of people don't get to even hear. They don't they be like, oh, Statik, y'all, he did the album producing 2 Chainz's album, and it's like, but it is a team. Like, I look at Term as like part of the Show Off team, and like you said, the artists you use, but
everybody brings certain plays to the table, man. Shout out the whole team. I don't want to miss nobody, but they know who they are, man. Yeah. But the main Show Off, like right now, as a brand and everything, is obviously my man Term, JFK, the whole radio show crew. I don't want to miss nobody on that, but we have a great system.
So, inspiration, man. Even your tats. The Stakes is High tat is one of my favorite albums, and Premier. It's almost like you're like the unofficial member of Gangstar, like through the legacy. And I've been hearing you speak about Premier for years. your sound, it's funny because it doesn't sound like Premiere, but
Definitely inspired by
it's
it.
inspired, but it's a feeling that you could be like, you know, like one of my favorite movies is Avengers, and they'd be like, the children of Thanos, and it's like,
I'm definitely a product of Gangstar. Like I knew Guru for years before I met Primo. I DJ'd for Guru certain times, like,
Wow.
and even like back home, the OG gang. Like I've known Suge forever. I know like a lot of the OG Gangstar dudes before I even knew them. So it's
Yeah.
like my whole influence is Gangstar. So to move to New York and then become the relationship me and Preem have now is absolutely insane.
When you heard it, you seen Gang, like, what was it? What was it about? Like, if you could just go in depth of like, was it the scratches? Was it the choruses? Was it the?
It was the way he flipped samples, the scratches. The scratches definitely talk to me because to this day, no one's messing with Preem's cuts on like a hook or melody.
Yep.
Code of the Streets is actually the record that I heard from Gangstar, and I was like, oh, this is a moment. Like the way he was scratching that boop, beep, boop, boop.
Yep.
That whole shit was like, it just hit me a certain way.
You know, one of the key things in this journey is relationships. You know, I don't even remember how we met, but I just remember that it clicked from day one.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a couple people, you know, back in the day, it was like Clue, Funk Flex, Khaled, and, you know, I consider you that same level. And from many different areas, too, from just knowing people as a good dude, DJing, production, you play an A&R, business owner, studio owner. Like, how do you know, because a lot of people watching and then people be like, you know, just generation, and older generation, they can't do one thing. They can't do this, two things, three things. But how do you do the balance in your career? And then two sides, because one of it is the career with your craft and everything, but then the hardest part is people. And I look at, like, as we were sitting here during the break, I was just looking at, like, I'm looking from, you know, Joey Badass to Millie's to Ab-Soul to Bun B. And, you know, one of the hardest things to me still in this game is getting talent. And it's a lot of things to get talent. You got to be a good person. You got to do good business. Yeah. And it's not even about money, you know. Like, how do you balance, like, the business and relationships for the level you're at now?
I mean, I basically was just so inspired by shows like, you know, Stretch and Bob, I'm not going to front. It was like I would hear stories about it and read about it, but I never got to hear it live in my life. I hadn't moved to New York yet, none of that. But I did come down a lot and hear Future Flavors. And that was very inspiring to me because the way they would break, you know, new artists. And so breaking artists has always been big for me, especially because when like we talked about in 2007 when Drama got shut down, mixtapes being, you know, deaded from the scene, that hurt a lot of up-and-coming artists, and it's like only certain people could really break through them. So I always looked at my albums and my radio show as a way to do that. So, like, I'm very proud to say I was the first one out here working with, like, Mac Miller, Action, Joey. Not the first, but I'm talking about on a certain scale. So like, Mac never came to New York ever before my radio show. He came up here, bugged out, we knocked out a bunch of records. You know, Joey was working on 1999 the first time he came to my crib. Action was like never even on a blog before that. Freddie Gibbs, like I did Freddie Gibbs' first mixtape with Ski, the Straight Killer No Filler. The Griselda guys, early, like super early. Like, and if you go back and look through the history, it's all there. Like I'm on Flag God, which was West Side's breakout album. I'm on, you know, and these guys have all been on my albums through all these years. I know I'm forgetting so many people too, but like you could go down the line from even the Chance the Rappers and Travis Scott's and all these guys. They came through my radio show before anything. So, you know, I've always been really proud of the cats that came from that I can really co-sign. One of my favorite moments was we were at the Rock Nation brunch in 2020. The day before the world ended, like Kobe passed the next day and everything just went to shit from there. Like the whole world, COVID, all that.
Yep.
But the last great day that I can remember was, I think it was the 25th, January 25th, 2020. And we're at the Rock Nation brunch. And it's like me, Joey, Westside, Conway, and Benny. And I was just like, damn, like this feels so good that I was like just on it so early, co-signing these guys like before anyone.
And now you see them all in this room at one of the...
And now we're all just, you know, we're in Buffalo tomorrow. By the time you see this, it already happened. Like, it's all family now, but it's like these relationships come from, one, our love for hip hop music, and then two, being solid dudes and being able to actually spend time, you know, outside the studio.
Yeah.
Like, I see Wes more, you know, at my bar drinking and talking shit than I do in the studio. You know, me and Joey are beyond family now. Baby showers and, you know, this is like 15 years in. And that's important. You got to, like, get along with someone first. There's a lot of big artists that I never rocked with just because we didn't vibe. And I can see through you when you come through. And there's a lot of people who step in the room, they're like, oh, I want to make some of that, like, real hip-hop shit. And it's like, that's not what you do.
Yeah.
So if you try to force, it's one thing if you're like, yo, I want to try this, it's cool. But when, like, it gets cold on the club front and you start trying to make these, like, records that don't we
fit.
all know that's not what you're about.
Yeah.
It stands out.
So, concepts, man. I think, you know, me marketing, besides the culture for years, when I see people do concepts and, like, they really good concepts, I'm like, wow. Only few people to me to this date that ever did it was you. And shouts out to West Side Gun, little bro, doing albums in a day. Or, you know, gonna pop up and be like, I'm turning this in Sunday.
Right.
You know,
no,
like
but we literally do it, like, on the camera with the world watching.
I know.
And Wes has been part of that multiple times.
Yeah, like I said, I think the first time I seen it was Freeway. And
2010, man. And that's funny because you see people on, like, TMZ now and all this claiming it. It's like, I step out there. I made TMZ recently because I went out there like, y'all are smoking rocks. Like, we've been doing this for so long.
It's a fact.
The first time I did it was me and Term. We were snowed in. And this is the first time Action had ever got on a record. We were snowed in. It was like winter 2009, I believe. And it was like, I'm talking about the snow out my door was like feet deep. And we were like, hey, we got snowed in. Let's go on live stream right now, make a whole EP and put it out tonight. And we did it, and Action was like one of the only features on there. Action pulled up, and, like, people were like, who the fuck is this guy? And the song went, you know, Two Dope Boys, Not Right, all that, and the rest is history. But that was just like, I decided that day to do it.
Do it.
The second time, I hit up XXL and, like, Karma Loop, and I was like, let's do it like this. Freeway, amazing night. We had so many guests come through. That was an amazing one. Only certain rappers could do it, and Freeway's one of the cats that, like, he don't write rhymes. He just nods his head to the beat for 5 minutes, and he's like, I'm ready. Only certain people can do that.
Can do it, yeah.
So after that, me and Freddie Gibbs did it with LRG, and that was, like, the same year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's called, Lord Giveth, Lord Taketh Away. A lot of albums in my head.
A lot of albums.
But that album's, man, that came out classic. And then we kind of took a break for some years. For about
since the Bun B thing?
About 9 years, we took a break. And in 2019, I was like, who could do this still? Especially nowadays. Like,
yeah.
Bun B, man. And I had always, like, kind of teased it with him because Bun's always been, and he writes. He doesn't do, he writes it on paper.
Pen and pad, yeah.
Nothing on the phone. Everything's written on pen and pad.
Yep.
So I would call them and I was like, we need to do it like this, this, and this. And I thought he was going to shut it down. And it would have been fine if he said no. He was like, let's do it, man. And it was so historic. We had, man, there's so many moments that night from Method Man coming. Method Man came a day early by mistake. And I was leaving the studio the night before and he's like, yo, what up? I'm like, why are you here? He's like, oh, I thought it was tonight. I'm like, it's tomorrow, bro. So in my head, I'm like, damn, Meth might not come back tomorrow because he was here for it tonight. And that was, like, funny. Then Fat Joe's laying in bed in some hotel somewhere, and he's texting UFO Feeve, yo, should I pull up? This looks dope. And he just pulled up and surprised everybody. Like, he, like, got dressed.
Is this the Sweet Chick one? Or
this is the one in my studio, the first one, the first Chill Static. Talib Kweli was watching in L.A., and he's like, y'all gonna be doing this all night? And we're like, yeah. He got on a flight, flew here, and made it on time to get on the album. There were so many moments like that. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of other ones, but those were, like, the top moments for me. I mean, Wes was like, I'm pulling up, and we're like, no, you ain't. And then he FaceTimed me. He's with his kids at school. This is like, we already started the album. He's in Atlanta.
And he made it.
He pulled up, and he wasn't even late. I don't even know how the hell he pulled that off. He must have, like, I don't know how he did that. There was a lot of great moments that night, man.
So let's talk about the craft, man.
We're moving on to Chill Static 5 now, which is crazy. So 5 albums later.
Yeah, and I heard we might be doing one at the compound, but we don't know.
Yeah, we're going to do something like
something
Chill Static 5's in Miami, though. You got to hear first. Art Basel installment. See, no one's ever done that either. We're making it available for the public. This is a world premiere right here. We're doing it in front of people, like a crowd.
Nah, because the Sweet Chick one was amazing. Tight.
Too many randoms, though.
Yeah.
This is going to be, like, secured off. Shout out to Sweet Chick.
Yep.
That was a great night, but it was, like, it got a little out of control. This one is going to be, like, roped off so the crowd can watch us work and we don't get interrupted.
Nah, that's beautiful. So, some producers, man, you're blessed to work with eons and so many greats and so many startings. It's helping people's careers. You get to a point you make it. You got your sound never changes. Your sound stay.
It does. Wait till you hear some of these new records come out. But I know what you mean.
But it still
has the feeling.
It has the feeling of Statik. What is that like? Of like working with a 2 Chainz and then going to a West Side Gun and then like always giving somebody your style, but also curating it so it fits them. Is that a challenge for you?
Yeah. I mean, I got an album with Nina Sky coming out that's like, it's still me, but there's some big hit records on there, and it's like club records. And then, I mean, the 2 Chainz album is, I can't let too much out about that, but it's done, and it sounds definitely that you've never heard from me. But I always said this is like kind of, to me, it's like his Reasonable Doubt. He's doing it the other way around. Like, he's doing this on the later side of his career as opposed to the first album. Everybody knows him for if you go back, Players Circle had some soulful joints, and he had them through his career. But this whole album is like a Brooklyn album.
Wow. I'm excited to hear it. So to end it all, man, music's changed, the industry's changed. You stayed the same the whole course, from the sound.
Yeah, things change, man. I mean, people definitely change, but I definitely stayed core to who I am.
That's who you are. And now going forward and like continuing to, your brand of Statik Selektah show off, what do you see in the world of AI and like what direction do you want to continue going with your music and to what heights?
I mean, you got to embrace the future. So I embrace like AI for if you do it in a way that, it gets funky with music because you don't want to ever replace the soul that musicians have. But when it comes to, if you have an idea for AI, like there's a couple records on my new album coming on Mass Appeal that I took an idea and made it in AI and then had musicians come in and flip what I did and turn it, it's like a 360, like it's a 180 from that. You go back to making real music from the inspiration from the AI. So it's like you can use it as a tool to give you ideas and then build on that.
It's almost like sampling again.
And none of the musicians had a problem with that at all. That's the funny thing. Like, obviously, they're going to hate when they hear something that is just completely AI and replaces the producer. But what about when you're using AI? Like, my daughter, she's amazing at art, right? She hates AI because she's like, I don't want to get replaced with this. But she might have an idea that she sees on there, and then she'll trace it and draw it and turn it into a whole new masterpiece. It's like, that's what you're supposed to do with AI. Even with movies, even with like, whatever it is, take advantage of it, because if you don't, you're going to get left in the dirt in some way. Yep. People did it look at how DJs treated Serato.
Yep.
Every DJ in the world said, I'm never using this. Primo did it, Kid Capri. I remember they were like the last ones. Yep. And now Serato is one of the greatest inventions ever. So it's like, Young Guru just did an interview. He's like, I'm not scared of AI. I'm scared of what the human's going to do with it.
With the AI.
So do the right thing with it.
Nah, Statik, thank you, man. This is amazing.
Always, man.